Senate President Keith Faber has dedicated the past 15 years to serving Ohioans in the State House. Coming from Salina, Ohio, he represents the 12th State Senate District and currently serves in his second term as President of the Senate. Prior to his election to the Senate, he served 3 terms in the Ohio House of Representatives. President Faber leads with the goal of making Ohio the best place to live, work, and raise a family. He focuses the Senate's priorities in creating opportunities for all Ohioans through job creation, economic growth and stability, tax relief, government efficiency, and investments in health and education. During his tenure as president, nearly 90% of the bills passed by the General Assembly have been bipartisan. Under his leadership, more Ohioans have a job today than at any time since 2008. Ohio's unemployment rate has dropped, and Ohioans' taxes have been reduced by approximately $5 billion. He, along with his colleagues in the Senate, the House, and the administration, have worked. Last year passed the state's biennial budget, which gave Ohioans the opportunity to keep more of their hard-earned money, provided tax relief to Ohio's small businesses and job creators, and gave historic levels of support to K-12 and higher education, while at the same time guaranteeing access to essential services for Ohioans in need. President Faber earned his Juris Doctorate from The Ohio State University in 1991. He did his undergraduate work in public administration and policy with a minor in biology, graduating with honors from Oakland University in Michigan in 1988. Outside the State House, he is the principal partner with Faber and Associates, a law firm specializing in civil litigation and mediation, helping courts and parties resolve their issues without trial. He is an active member of his community and lives in Salina with his wife Andrea and their 2 children. Please help me welcome State Senate President Keith Faber.
Well, good evening, everyone. President Diab, Chairwoman Nelson, and the other members of the Board of Trustees. I'm honored to be here with 2 of my legislative colleagues, the number 2 ranking member of the Senate, your own State Senator Larry Althoff, and Representative Romachuk from the House. It's also an honor to be here with County Commissioner John. Good to see you, and I'm looking forward to hear what you have to say. You know, I know all of you, when you got in your cars tonight and started heading in here to come to graduation, were thinking, I can't wait to hear that wonderful keynote speech. Because that's what you're really here for. Really, my heartfelt congratulations for this important accomplishment. You know, I'm honored to be here for one of the most significant moments in many of your lives. I assure you, however, you have many more significant moments to come. I've crossed the stage much like this on 3 separate occasions. They were all wonderful days. My family was there. I'll never forget walking across that stage and getting that diploma. But you know, there are 2 things I don't remember about any one of those 3 occasions. The first is who the graduation speaker was. The second is a single word of anything they had to say. I'm sure you'll be no different. You know, I'm not going to stand up here and give you a long speech about all the things you could do and should do and may do. Oh, I'm going to talk about some of that. It wouldn't be a graduation speech without it. But I want to let you know that I'm going to try and be brief, and for a politician brief, it's about 45 minutes to an hour. So get comfortable. The reality is I'm going to start out and put everything in context with a famous line from another philosopher from the 1980s, a guy named Ferris Bueller. Now, I'm not sure if any of you remember Ferris Bueller. He said, and I quote, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you just could miss it." Ladies and gentlemen, today is that day to stop and look around. This is a moment to remember for the rest of your life. It's both the end of a long journey and the beginning of a new trip. Hopefully, as you sit here, you have big dreams and lofty goals. You have a belief that if you try hard enough, you can do something to change the world. I know because my story isn't much different than many of yours. I heard President Diab mention that many of you are the first members in your family to go to college. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers and sisters. My mom and dad divorced when I was 6. Mom was a nurse. She did the best she could raising us as a single parent, but I was the very first one of my family to go and get a college degree. I can remember when Mom worked overtime so us kids could have nice birthday and Christmas presents. We were taught and understood the value of hard work. We were always encouraged to do what we could to help out. I mowed lawns and shoveled snow well before I was a teenager. I can remember my very first paycheck job at 12, riding my bike to Culligan Water Conditioning so I could sweep their floors and clean their toilets and get that paycheck. You know, the interaction I got at that job with all of the employees who worked hard, and I saw the guys who were on commission, who sold more, got paid more, was a wonderful experience. The more they worked, the harder they worked, the better they did. From there, I went on to help a couple who literally risked their house to open a pizza shop. I saw their commitment and their concerns every day as they counted the proceeds in the cash box to see if they were going to make it or not. I witnessed and I learned the value of hard work. From there, at 16, I got the opportunity to work at that American icon, McDonald's. You know, that place where you learn if you have time to lead, you have time to clean. I'm guessing by the reaction, a number of you had a similar work experience. Now, I graduated from the high school, as I mentioned, got to go to college, and I was the first one in my family to go to college. And yes, some of you might be wondering, because my last name is Faber, whether or not I went to Faber College. Again, like Ferris Bueller, for those of you who don't get that reference, that is a reference to my youth in a movie called Animal House. Let's just say, I learned it wasn't the Germans who bombed Pearl Harbor. Yes, I did go into college, and I was fortunate enough to have scholarships. But I also had to work my way through college to pay the bills. And I did. I continued that in law school, where I had to work my way through law school as a law clerk and tending bar and waiting tables and doing other jobs to get by. I'm honored to stand here today and tell you that the state of Ohio, the good Lord, and a lot of hard work have truly blessed me in this land of opportunity. And that's why I believe in our state. I believe in Ohio. And I believe that it's important that we all work together to make sure Ohio has a strong future for my kids and my grandkids. You know, I'm here tonight, and my wife, who is a math department chair at Rhodes State, is home with my 8-year-old, soon-to-be 9-year-old daughter on Tuesday with 4 girls spending the night. I'm really happy to be here tonight. But you know, your efforts and the academic success that you've got is exactly what this college is about. And it's exactly what myself and my colleagues in the state Senate work so hard to promote. As president of the Ohio Senate, one of the things I get to do usually every week when he's not running for president, spend time with the speaker and the governor. And we talk about our legislative priorities. And let me tell you, we have been laser focused on growing jobs in the economy of this state. You see, it's pretty simple. We want to keep people like you right here in Ohio. We want to make sure that my 9-year-old and my 11-year-old, whose birthday was last Tuesday, by the way, can have a future and a career in Ohio where I don't have to get on an airplane to go see my kids and grandkids. That's what it's about. But in order for our state to be a success, we need a well-educated workforce. And that's why my colleagues in the legislature and myself joined together in this last budget to increase funding for higher education at a record level of 8.5%. You know, as the governor said, A higher education system that's working and is effective can be one of the greatest assets the state has, because companies, what they really care about is the quality of the workforce. I couldn't agree more. And you, ladies and gentlemen, are a big part of that future. And some of you sit here today, you're getting your degree and have plans to go on and continue your college career, whether it's a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a doctorate. Others will take this degree you've earned today and go out and enter the workforce directly. By the way, a little side trivia, you realize that in Ohio today, that associate's degree graduates earn more than entry-level bachelor's degree graduates, particularly in the fields of allied health, which I know a lot of you are into. Somebody's happy about that. Just look in the audience at your parents and family members, they're really happy about that. Look, for others, this isn't the first time you've walked across the stage. Maybe you've lost a job or just wanted to gain new skills. Today, for you, can mark the start of a new career. Whatever situation fits your particular case, you're doing this to better yourself. You're doing this to provide more for your family, and you're doing this to get ahead. And in turn, make no mistake about it, you getting ahead betters your community, this state, and ultimately, our nation. We all take different paths, just as I learned growing up, and I'm sure you know as well. The path of hard work, determination, and living with integrity will always lead to your success. There may be bumps in the road, twists and turns, but that's life. Staying true to those foundational principles will keep you on the right course. I often remind myself of what President Teddy Roosevelt once said about public service, and his words are worth repeating here today. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, who spends himself on a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while doing and daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Graduates, my challenge to you today is to live by those words. Be a leader. If you want to make a difference, you have to get in the game. Show courage and determination, even if you come up short. And believe me, no offense, but you will come up short. We all do from time to time. Abraham Lincoln had lost 8 attempts to win public office or positions of leadership before eventually becoming president. Thomas Edison tried more than 10,000 times before he finally came up with a successful light bulb. He once famously said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." The Wright brothers spent years of flying and crashing before that day in December of 1903, when their flyer took flight about 120 feet for a grand total of 12 seconds. 5 years later, they'd be honored to the White House by Ohio President Taft, who presented them with medals and commendations for their efforts with the quote, "Keeping your nose right at the job until you accomplish what you're determined to do is the reason we're here." Yes, they all came up short again and again, because as I said, there is no effort without shortcoming and error. However, if you keep at it, you can do great things. Finally, find a cause worthy and greater than yourself. To be determined to make a difference. And I'm going to be very candid with you this afternoon. This isn't really a request. This is a demand and an expectation for your generation. Your country needs every one of you at this moment in history. Our challenges are great, but you know what? our opportunities are greater. We need your energy, your talent, your vision, and most importantly, we need your leadership. As Teddy Roosevelt will say, you are already in the arena. From here, life will certainly mar your face with dust, sweat, and blood as you work towards the triumph of high achievement. Earlier, I started my speech with a line from the great philosopher Ferris Bueller. Perhaps a more profound word of wisdom is from another movie and the great Roman general Maximus. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the rest of your book is unwritten. You are the author, and the story is up to you. I know with confidence that anyone walking this stage today can eventually stand before the audience of young people and students and graduates as the president of the Ohio State Senate, if that's your dream. All it takes is a little hard work. You attended this fine institution, you finished the course. This school is now part of your identity. I encourage you to support it. I encourage you to promote it. And I encourage you every day to strive to live up and honor its reputation. Most importantly, never forget the people who have invested in you. Dr. Diab recognized it at the beginning of his presentation. Your focus now, however, is investing in others. In the words of Emerson, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail for others to follow. Congratulations to you, the class of 2016. Congratulations to your family and friends who supported you in this achievement. Yes, I know some of those are parents who dug into their own savings to help you pay for your education. Some of those same parents allowed you to live at home so you can save a little money. I guarantee you that was a sacrifice. Some of you who are married, don't forget your spouse who had to pick up the extra work around the house, run the errands, manage the kids, so you could get some extra study time. Maybe that person you need to thank today is a friend or a teacher who helped push you to the finish line. Do me a favor. When you leave here today and you give them that hug, tell them thanks. Most importantly, when you go out from here today, make them proud by painting your future in bold colors. Thanks again for inviting me to share this special moment in your life. May God bless you in your future endeavors, and may North Central State and all of Ohio be proud with what you do and your investments in others for the remainder of your life. God bless you, and thank you.
I would like to read you a resolution by our Board of Trustees. Whereas, upon the recommendation of the President and with the approval of the Board of Trustees, the honorary degree of Associate of Applied Science or Applied Business will be awarded to those outstanding individuals who have distinguished themselves within the community, as well as with North Central State College. And whereas honorary degrees are typically awarded to a living individual who has achieved extraordinary distinction in a career that has affected the lives of others, particularly those through scholarly achievement, through public service, or through philanthropy. And whereas E. Faber has displayed the level of exemplary achievement deemed worthy of the singular recognition conveyed by the conferral of an honorary degree from North Central State College, now therefore be it resolved that the North Central State College Board of Trustees takes pleasure in conferring upon E. Faber the honorary degree of Associate of Applied Business, honoris causa, as part of the May 6, 2016 North Central State College commencement ceremony in accordance with the policy adopted under Resolution 1978-08 for honorary degree. President Faber, it's my pleasure to provide you with this honorary degree.